feel like we need the dun 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 as our intro music today, because this is a very special edition of the Mike and Molson Too Good for Radio podcast.
Funny you say that. Why, I happen to have that music right here. Aha, see?
Oh, very nice. I like the atmosphere that you're setting as we begin this international edition of the Mike and Molson Too Good for Radio podcast. Johnny, Where are you?
I am sitting in central London right now on Ludgate Hill, which is just about a 9-iron shot from St. Paul's Cathedral. I'd say it's a kilometer or 3 away from the Tower of London, and I think the Thames River is just behind me here. I haven't seen it yet, but I think that's where it is.
Ah, very
but
nice.
I'm sitting outside of a train bus station of some sort of depot here in London, and it's a busy street. It's about 2 p.m. where I am, and so folks are hustling. And there goes a double-decker bus tooting at me.
I love how, whether Springfield or here, it's either a train or a bus always in the background. Yeah. There's always something bustling wherever you're at, my friend.
Right. So I'm here for a conference, and I had a crazy experience yesterday. The conference is being held in this old, used to be a brewery. It's been around forever, so it's an old, vintage building. And I go into the restroom, and the restroom has a trough.
Oh, so it's like Wrigley Field.
Yeah, so gentlemen all know when I say the trough, Wrigley has, I think Busch Stadium had one too, and the Fair, ladies, what it is. Yeah. It's exactly what it sounds like. It's just a open metal thing where you just walk up and you unzip and you go, and it's very humiliating because there's just not. It's just you're just shoulder to shoulder with guys. Well, here's the difference,
right?
Though.
Okay.
The trough in this bathroom was a tile wall and then just a gutter on the floor that went into a drain.
Oh, so like there was nothing to catch the urine? Like it's just right. You pee against the wall?
Pee against the wall, it runs down into the gutter and it goes down the drain.
I don't like that at all. That's way too much possibility of splashback.
Yeah, well, that is an issue. But I figured out it, pretty quickly. It's like, oh, okay, that's how they do this here. Fine. So I go up, unzip, and just then the door opens and someone walks in, and I suddenly have this fear of, what if I'm wrong?
And you're just peeing against their wall?
I suddenly just became petrified that am I just standing against a wall, just whizzing on this nice British wall here in this vintage antique? I mean, I was like, because, well, here's the thing. The guy who came in went past me and went into a stall. That's what really freaked me out.
Well, I would be freaked out too. First of all, you're an American in a foreign country, and one that we vanquished in order to get our freedom and said, get the hell back to your own damn country. And now here you are as an American. I'll show you. I'm going to rub some salt in your wound. I'm going to pee on your walls. Take that, King George. No representation on taxation.
And the urinal rule, just eyes forward on everything. So I glanced to the right and I looked down the gutter, and there was like basically a urinal cake on the floor. It was indeed there. It was there to be urinated on. That's what the wall was. But oh my God, was I petrified? I would have been
the same way as you. Like I'd have walked in and been like, okay, first of all, I'd been weirded out. Am I in the women's restroom? Because there's no urinals. There's just stalls. So
there's just a wall. It was a wall and then a door.
Right. And I'm just like, okay, am I in the women's restroom? Then I would look down at the grate and go, okay, maybe I do pee here. And to your point, then I would get freaked out if someone opens the door and no one else is doing it. You're like, it's just me in there peeing on the wall. I'd be like, they're gonna arrest me. I'm gonna get arrested in London for pissing on their wall. Good Lord.
The trough is such a bad idea. Such a bad idea.
I don't mind the trough when it's actually like something that catches the pee. Right. But this isn't even a trough. This is just like the stand-up urinals. It's like it was like the stand-up urinals without the urinal part.
It goes all the way to the floor, and then there's nothing. Yeah, it was everything about it was wrong.
Goofed. And they call it the loo, and just everything about that is goofed. Yeah. I'm sorry you had to go through all that. That's terrifying to think that you were just peeing all over out of the walls willy-nilly out of nowhere. Be like, don't look at me. Yeah,
this is going to be the international incident that I cause.
Was there any incidents on the flight over there? I know that's a lengthier flight.
There were two. There was one actually on the flight from Springfield to Chicago, which on a busy day is maybe 30 minutes.
I was going to say, how does that happen?
And one of the things about that flight is, and you got to think about 30 minutes. Okay, you got 5-10 minutes to get up, then it levels off for about 10 minutes, and then 5-10 minutes to land. And so in that brief 10 minutes, the flight attendant gets on the speaker and says, hey, because this is a shorter flight, we won't have the usual complimentary beverage service. But if you want some water, I'll be coming around the cabin to give you some water. And makes sense. And I mean, it is literally, she hands you a cup and she pours water out of a bottle. That's what you get. So she hangs up the microphone and gets ready to make her way down the cabin. And there's 50, 60 people on this little flight. And the very first person says, Bloody Mary, please. Bloody Mary?
That's a big leap from, would you like some water?
Yeah. And she says, this is a short flight, right? He goes, yeah, I'd like a Bloody Mary. So she hands him a can of Bloody Mary mix and a little vodka and a cup and says, off you go. Jesus.
Good Lord. Yeah. That individual may have a problem. If you can't handle the 30-minute flight before you land with I guess maybe there's a connecting flight somewhere you have to get to, but maybe wait for the longer one than just the half-hour Bloody Mary.
And then this woman was sitting in front of me on the flight over to London. And do you remember the scene in Planes, Trains, and Automobiles when John Candy couldn't get, bless you, sir, when John Candy couldn't get the seat right in the car, and he kept adjusting and back and forth and up and down. Yeah. So
and his coat gets caught on the adjustment, and then they're driving with his knees.
And I swear, this woman sitting in front of me, who was John Candy sized, could not get herself comfortable, and it was up and it was down, and it was moving and it was turning, and she was thrusting and just joof, and of course it's she's in front of me, so my tray is like hitting me in the stomach every time she does this. She finally fell asleep, and but I've never seen a person just so uncomfortable. I mean, and look, yeah, she was larger, right, and so it's not comfortable for anybody. But I imagine for a larger person, it would not be. And she was not having it. And I mean, it was like just when I thought she had settled herself down, again, she just would just shove it and push, and would lean back and lean forward and push it back down and up again. And it was maddening. But anyway, I got here safe and without incident, and aside from peeing on the wall when I shouldn't have.
Was she by any chance listening to Ray Charles mess around while all that was going around?
I would have. See, that would have made it better.
You've been like, oh my God, I'm seeing a live action Planes, Trains, and Automobiles reenactment.
Smoking
That's
a cigarette,
fantastic.
The whole thing. But anyway.
Well, I'm glad you've been without major incident on your travels. That is not the case for a former priest from the area in which you are at.
Tell me.
Here is the headline of this story, where former British priest dies following drug-fueled sexual encounter with Belgian pastor during trip to visit the Pope.
See, every time you go to it's like going to a convention. That's when you just let loose. You don't know anybody in town.
That's true. This retired British priest, after a drug-fueled sex romp with a Belgian colleague during a trip to visit Pope Francis, died. The priest identified by the Daily Mail was a 69-year-old Father Andrew. No, this can't be right. His last name is Wagstaff.
Oh, I hope it is. Yeah.
It is. Dr. Father Andrew Wagstaff is the one who died because of a sex-fueled romp with a Belgian cohort. He had spent last Thursday night with the unidentified 6-year-old Belgian priest at his rectory for St. Joseph Church near Antwerp, Belgium. You can't have Wagstaff and rectory in the same sentence.
No, but here we are.
Yes, here we are. Here's what the authorities had to say. It appears that the two men had used ecstasy and poppers together and then had sex. Poppers
Start small.
To...
That's my advice. Start small. You really shouldn't go full bore like that. You gotta experiment a little bit. But I think they were like, this is our only chance to do all of the things at once, and they probably brought in a roulette table.
I've been a Catholic for my entire life. Is there a rumspringa for priests where they get to do that kind of stuff? Is it like the Amish? They get a weekend away that's like, anything goes this weekend.
Yeah, exactly.
Just after midnight, Wagstaff fell ill while his lover, identified only as Pastor B, called emergency services, who attempted to revive the retired priest, were unable to save him. Pastor B was questioned by the presiding judge and arrested on suspicion of drug trafficking, resulting in death.
Good grief.
Wagstaff had traces of narcotics and ecstasy in his body, according to the Daily Mail. However, the official cause of death is still undetermined. Interesting.
Yeah. Well, no,
I'm pretty sure
I can
that
figure
had
it
something
out.
to do with it.
Yeah. I think we can figure it out. We're not professionals.
Yeah, no, I'm not a professional investigator, but I'm pretty sure that the drugs, the poppers, and you can't do both. You're only going to do one or the other. When you're going to have some wild retired priest sex, you go one or the other. One or the other, sir. One or the other.
Yeah, if you're going to do the vices, you got to do all the vices at once.
Yeah, I guess so. Speaking of crimes against nature, you have the story about the man with his Frankensheep.
This is a guy in Montana, and I think we've talked about this before, that is breeding these giant 300-pound sheep. They're like mountain goat type, but they're even bigger than that.
Holy crap. Is he setting up an army of sheep to take over the world?
Here's what really... the story bugs me anyway, but here's what is really ridiculous. Arthur Schubarth.
Oh, Schubarth.
Is facing up to 6 months in prison and $24,000 in fines. And the reason he was cloning them is basically to put them on wild game hunting preserves and then shoot them.
What?
I know.
You can't do that. Is there that big a demand to kill sheep? Come on.
Yeah, I mean, if you go to these wild game preserves and you're a hunter, okay, that's fine. Whatever you want to do, that's good. But listen to the steps this guy had to go through just to make this. He and at least 5 other collaborators began conspiring to purchase parts of a dead male Marco Polo sheep from sellers. Over the next 8 years, he sent genetic material from the world's largest sheep species to a lab and create these cloned embryos. The embryos were then artificially inseminated into ewes from a variety of other species to create numerous hybrid offspring.
Oh, good Lord! Those poor women. These giant babies inside of them. Those poor ewes.
So they eventually did produce a single pure genetic Montana Mountain King sheep, clocking in at 300 pounds, 49 inches shoulder to shoulder, and horns that span 5 feet.
Montana Mountain King is a pickup truck. That is not a sheep.
Yeah, it's going to be the name of a reality show on Netflix pretty soon.
Probably.
Yikes. Okay, so you go through that. I mean, that is a lot of work. First of all, it's a lot of work to create a clone sheep. At some point, you just go, maybe just sheep should make other sheep, and we shouldn't get involved. That's just. And then
right.
You just put them out in the field and shoot them.
All that work for nothing? You're like,
what?
Look at my creation. Now let's shoot it. Good Lord. Yeah, that's a lot of work to just have something die.
He says apparently a spokesman from the DOJ was contacted by Popular Science, and his statement was, "We don't comment on that." But he did confirm that the man is in custody, and awaiting trial where he could end up in jail for at least 6 months, $24,000 in fines. Not enough to stop Arthur Schubarth.
And his God, that is way too much work for something you're just going to shoot anyway. He could have just put anything out there and shot at it. Idiot. Here's a lady who went to Reddit. She's got a problem with her wedding coming up because some of her family members have now dubbed her ceremony as satanic. She is a big fan of Halloween and has said that I've had this Halloween wedding planned for 2 years. The venue I wanted has a wait list. And so we had to wait. Now, all of a sudden, out of nowhere, my mom and grandma decided the wedding was satanic and want me to make last minute changes. So they've been known about this for a while. And then all of a sudden something shifted where they go, yeah, I'm not quite sure about this. I think your Halloween themed wedding is satanic. She then said, no, this is the wedding I want. It's not your wedding. And the mom and grandma then said, well, if that's the case, then I don't know if we can attend. So she said, you know what? I'm just not going to invite you. You are now disinvited. You cannot come.
Should have just made them disappear and vanish. Poof, right, you're gone. Yes. I'll show you, satanic.
Yeah, exactly. You think I'll show you this? I'm going to send you back to the pits of hell. One of her sisters acted like she stepped out bridesmaid's duty, so I replaced her. It was about 25 people in total that decided, she said in her quote, to act stupid at less than 6 weeks to go. So she then sent out disinvitation. So she went full on, not just, hey, I'm calling you out. She sent through the mail disinvitations.
Is there a printer that specifically does disinvitations?
I don't know, but it seems like a burgeoning cottage industry now.
Absolutely.
I told my aunt they had 2 years for complaints, but saying you're not going at 6 weeks for my wedding is bullshit. And everyone effed around and found out. I will not be bullied by my family over this. So she went scorched earth and said, hey, listen, not only are you not invited, but I am going the full bore to disinvite you via a actual invitation, letting you know you're not invited anymore.
And we're going to have so much fun without you.
Yes, exactly. When the rapture comes, we're just going to sit here and be having and I can't, you know what? Halloween themed weddings, that makes sense. Some people, that's their favorite holiday. Doesn't mean it's satanic, their mom and grandma.
And by the way, we're going to have a priest, popper, and upper porn show too. You're going to love it.
Right, exactly. As a special guest feature, you're going to see old Father Wagstaff and Pastor B wagging staff right here at the wedding. Yikes.
You've made your choice.
Yeah. Going to miss out on that good time. Who knows? Maybe you're going to miss out on the ice sculpture. Who knows what that would have been? But you have a story about a sculpture that is only the art in the eye of the beholder, or not, I guess.
This Italian artist in this past June, Salvatore Garou, made headlines for his invisible sculpture, which sold at auction for $18,300.
What kind of rube is buying an invisible sculpture?
I don't know, but somewhere right now, Banksy is going, oh, that's good. That was a good one. I mean, I should have thought of that.
I should have thought of that years ago.
I tip my hat to you, sir, and I'm going to go spray paint a wall.
Right. What if Banksy's sitting by you right now over in London? Like, that son of a bitch.
Someone say my name, huh?
Yeah, he peed on our walls over here in England, and now he's besmirching my work.
Well, one of your fellow residents there in Florida, Tom Miller, is threatening to file a lawsuit claiming it was his idea first, and he should have gotten credit for it. Miller went on to express... Go ahead.
No, as I say, that whole invisible sculpture thing, that was my idea, damn it.
Yeah, he said he had installed his own invisible sculpture over in Gainesville at Bo Diddley's Community Plaza. His piece was aptly titled Nothing, when I saw it, I thought, hey, that's my idea, and ideas are important in this world, and recognition for those ideas are important. So I wanted that ammunition, so I contacted him. He dismissed it away, and then Miller went and hired an Italian attorney. And he said, if you Google his name, Google Tom Miller Nothing, you can easily see that he had this whole idea first, and attorneys are backing him up and saying we're gonna get our money.
Okay, here's what needs to happen here. All right, the Italian sculptor who sold his invisible sculpture for $18,000 needs to say, you know what, Tom, you're right. I took your idea. Here's the invisible check. Go take it to the invisible bank and cash it and enjoy your earnings.
Yeah, as we all live together in this invisible world we've created.
Yes, yeah. I love how the one guy's like, I just put a sign up that said nothing, and that was my sculpture. Good Lord. So, that would be someone from Florida be like, wait a second, that's my idea.
By the way, we're about 22 minutes into the podcast. I have a sign on my laptop that says, recording a live podcast in the U.S., say hi. And several people have gone by and read it. Nobody has stopped.
That's ridiculous.
Well,
is it because of maybe our subject matter? That they don't want to, they overhear us talking about Wagstaffing and peeing on walls?
They can only hear me. They can't hear you. So.
That's true. That's true. Somebody, they can't hear me. Why am I employing them to say they can't hear me? Why am I the one saying, please stop by and say hello?
Yeah. I really hope a British police officer comes up and says, what's all this then? And shoos me away.
I want that. I really want that to happen. Yeah. I want that to happen. And then I want them to chase you and just pat you on the head, Benny Hill style, when they catch you. Like, smack. That's my dream scenario.
Boy, what's all this then?
I so want that to happen. Here is something out of the Netherlands that I found interesting. Somebody over in the Netherlands was talking about how, man, Americans are so uptight about their kids, and they have to have all the cell phones and know where they are 24/7. That's not how we do things in the Netherlands, because in the Netherlands, we have a tradition called the dropping.
Okay.
And they say it's a rite of passage, says Mark Pols of the Netherlands. He is an investor living in Silicon Valley who grew up in Holland. When he was a kid, droppings were always a part of the Boy Scouts, and they still are. He said there'd be various degrees of challenge, meaning what time of night, how far away you get dropped, how few people you get dropped with, etc. So yeah, that's what the dropping is in the Netherlands.
Wow.
They take their child in the middle of the night and just say, hey, here's a map. Go find your way back to the road. Have fun.
How many couples then, I don't know, 3 weeks later go, I guess we just don't have kids anymore, and now we're single again?
That could be part of it. This guy said his first dropping was at age 11, which seems typical. He was in a group of 5 or 6 kids, all blindfolded, and dropped well past sundown at some distance from the camp.
What is the blindfold really necessary? That really seems like now it seems like you are trying to get rid of them.
In our case, he said, we had a crude little map, and the purpose was to find a road and navigate your way back. He says, it was really exciting because it was dark and we were given one flashlight. He said, maybe we had to walk a mile or something, but it felt really far and scary. Yes, because you're blindfolded, dropped in the middle of the woods
right.
by your parents with just a map and one flashlight for 6 of you and go, find this road. Good luck. He said in some camps, then and now, staffers accompany the kids but hang behind so the campers have to figure out the route on their own. He says, we don't help the kids go in the right direction at all, says Birgit Hartkamp, a sales rep in Utrecht who grew up going to an astronomy camp that did droppings and later became a counselor there. At one point, I made the kids walk in a circle for 5 hours, and then they realized they were 200 meters from the place they had to be. I knew it the whole time. That's just sadistic, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
You're like, I'm not going to help you. I'm not going to help you.
It's funny.
It sounds like no matter what the theme of the camp, music, science, horseback riding, a dropping is generally part of the experience in the Netherlands. So you're going to music camp, you go that one time to band camp, and then you just get dropped in the middle of nowhere with your flute and say, find your way. Schools do it as well.
See how this Piccolo serves you now.
Yes, exactly. Hold it up to the light. See if you can find a map. He says that he recalls his time as a camper, or he recalls the time, I should say, a camper was not making any friends and wanted to go home before the dropping. It was his first time. I sat down with him and said, please don't go home. If you really want to, I cannot stop you, but please wait till Sunday because Saturday night is the dropping.
Wow, I had no idea that they were so brutal over there.
They are. They said that night he made so many friends. Coincidentally, that camper ended up being Father Wagstaff. So they do the droppings over there. They say since most kids are afraid of the dark, afraid of the woods, and afraid of getting lost, a dropping sounds like a therapist's dream. So they say some of it is therapeutic to get it all out there.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, that's what they do. The droppings. They said one guy from the Netherlands says perhaps the Boy Scouts can introduce the dropping as say a merit badge activity. Here's what one New York Troop 1 Scoutmaster Caroline Casey said. Oh God, no. If kids got dropped off in the woods and got hurt or lost, there'd be lawsuits all over the place.
Yeah.
So she says,
I think this is a way for parents who are having second thoughts to just go, let's just drop them off.
Yeah. I was shocked when I heard it, and just how proud they are of it. Yeah. They live with the Mountain King sheep and hope they don't get cloned by that gentleman out there. There's out in the wild Lord of the Flies style. Finally, here in this international version of the Mike and Molson Too Good for Radio podcast, I'm stalling. I'm hoping someone says hello, Johnny. I'm really hoping someone comes by. It stinks.
I think it's a trap.
The British,
and they're not wrong.
All uppity. They don't have time for it. What are you doing that's so important? We have a follow-up to a story we did years ago about a character that we created based on this gentleman called Ticklefoot. Remember old Ticklefoot?
Yeah.
Ticklefoot was just wanted to tickle the toes as you get in your car, ma'am. He was in a mall parking lot just laying under cars looking for feet.
Think how crazy that is. Yeah, he would lie under a car, and when women would be up there unlocking their car, he would reach out and just touch their toes. That was his thrill.
I just want to tickle your toes. Yeah. Well, old Jesse Michael Johnson, aka Ticklefoot, who's been arrested numerous times for this offense, was recently arrested again. Officers investigated 3 separate incidents of a man who was seen crawling under the SUVs of women who were vacuuming their cars at the Superstar Car Wash. So these women would just be minding their own business, vacuuming out their cars after the car wash, and here would come Ticklefoot.
Oh my gosh!
I see you vacuuming the car. Can I help get some of that lint between the toes? Oh, so what Ticklefoot just wants to help you out with your linen between your toes.
What did he? So they're vacuuming. So he sneaks in on the other side and slides over.
No, he's under their cars.
Right.
He would crawl so that's what I mean. He would see. Yeah, he would camp out. Yeah, he would camp out, see the women who are wearing the appropriate footwear for him to tickle the feet, start vacuuming the cars because the car vacuum is loud. And at that point, he would creep over, and cartoonishly, I think like on his tiptoes is the way I envision him.
Xylophone noises.
Yeah, and then he would slyly slide underneath their SUV, and then I'm just going to tickle the foot. So eventually, he was arrested again. You can't let him out anymore, right?
No. It's only going to end up one way.
Right. He's going to go back to doing it again. Ooh, dinner time?
I don't know what the hell that
time?
Was. I don't know.
Is that tea time? Last call for boarding. Ring-a-ding-ding.
Yeah, it sounds important. I don't know what that was.
Yeah, his preliminary hearing was this just yesterday. October 3rd was his preliminary hearing for tickling the feet again. But that guy's got issues, man. If you're willing to crawl underneath SUVs.
And what sucks is there's really no statute addressing this specific thing. I mean, I'm sure it's some form of assault that I'm not thinking of, but there's probably a way he can wiggle out of this.
Pardon the pun.
Right.
Just wiggle your toes, real tickle. You're right. If he's been arrested numerous times and is back doing it yet again, there is obviously some loophole in the law that he is being able to find so that he can get back to his foot tickling ways.
Your Honor, I would like the counsel to specifically cite where it says this little piggy went to market is against the law.
All he wants to do is just help out. He's just trying to make sure they get wee all the way home.
Oi, what's all this then? Come on, move along.
Oh, have you offered anyone any of our sponsor, a product from our sponsor? They have Nugenic commercials over there.
Haven't seen a single Nugenics commercial now.
Oh man, there's a very large hurt over there that we can see. I don't know who their British athletes are that would be able to. This here's Andy Murray for Nugenics. Right. If you want your balls to go over the net with strength, make sure you sign up for Nugenics. And she'll like it too.
I got a night planned at the theater, and probably gonna stop in a pub or two, a pub or four.
Oh, awesome!
Yeah,
very very nice. Make sure you bring that sign with you to the pub and just kind of set up the microphone and just see what happens.
Yes, I will. Very cartoon style, be thrown out the side and land on my butt, and then my computer will come following and hit me in the head.
That would probably be the way it goes.
That's exactly what.
All
would
right,
happen.
sir. Well.
All right.
Enjoy the rest of your time over in London, and we will convene. I believe next week we're thinking about the debut of the live stream, correct?
That's right. So be watching that on YouTube and watch. Hi. Somebody finally said hi. There we go. Right, just as we're wrapping up, somebody finally said hello.
Yay. Hey, all right. The day has been made. And make sure you find us on YouTube, like and subscribe, and we'll see you live next week.
Cheerio.
Pip, pip, and all that.